Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a wonderful week and I hope you enjoyed the last video. And today I also gonna do a book review on The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I bought the anniversary illustrated edition because even though I hadn't read the book yet, I really liked the synopsis, and every single page that I saw this book on, I was like, okay, I need to read it because the story seems rather interesting and intriguing, and so I decided to buy the illustrated edition. And I'm so glad I did. I don't know if you guys saw this edition ever, and I don't know if it's available on Book Depository, that's where I bought it, or on Amazon, but if it is available, I'll leave a link down below so you can watch it. So this is the paper edition, or the paper cover. Let's put it here, and then this is the gorgeous book. I mean, look at this, right? The pages are in gray tone, okay, as you can see, and here too, gray, and here you have flowers, like in the cover, and you also have something to mark your readings, even though I don't use it because I use bookmarks. And then you have this inside, so part of these are illustrations of the story that I'm not gonna mention because that's a spoiler and I want this to be spoiler free. But yeah, you have, and then you have here a section where you find like gorgeous drawings of the story, like amazing. And this, I think these are all made from fans, like, which is also pretty cool. Like, look at this. The quality of these drawings is mind-blowing. I'm trying to look at this. And the last one, which is actually my favorite, it's this one. So the book is gorgeous. It is. It's actually one of those books that you want in your bookshelf, forever, because it is a very gorgeous book. And besides that, the story is amazing. So, as I did in the video before, this is a synopsis that is spoiler-free, so that you guys can enjoy the book like I did. But let's just say that the book starts in the 18th century. That's when Addie LaRue, I think that's how you say it, because my French is awful, yes, obviously. But Adeline is born in France, in Villon, I think that's how you say, Villon? I don't know how to say the name of the village, but she's born in France in the 18th century, and she lives a very normal life, like a cottage life, where everything is simple and nothing spectacular happens, and she craves for that extraordinary things. And you know, fast forward to her 23rd, not birthday, but 23rd year, and she is forced to marry someone. And in a desperate call, she makes a deal with the darkness, with the devil. And her deal is actually she sells her soul to get more time. And it's not just time in terms of eternity, it's to be free, you know, like not to be bound to anyone, not to be bound to anything. And darkness twitches everything, so she actually gets eternity, but she is not remembered. So every single time that someone steps out of a room or doesn't see her for like a couple of minutes, that's it, they forget who she is, and she is doomed to live like that forever. And every single year on that day the darkness comes to her, and every single year he asks, are you ready to give up? So can I have your soul? Because that's what the darkness wants. And she's like, yeah, no, even though she's been to a hell of a time. I mean, imagine being a woman in the 18th century and nobody remembers you, not even your parents, like someone that are supposed, the people that are supposed to protect you, they don't remember you, they don't know who you are. So all of a sudden everything that you felt comfortable on and with, it's gone. So she roams free and actually starts to wander around in the world. And flash forward to 2013-14, and that's when the book was written. And in 2014 in 2014 she meets a guy. Let's just okay. In 2014 she is in New York. She is trying once again to do her thing and to live her life, or her existence more correctly. And as she wanders in New York, she meets or she finds a bookstore that she never saw it before. And she goes inside and she tries to steal a book, and she's like, because that's how she lives, right? She steals things, because people forget who she is like in a second, so she steals, they come after her, and then they forget why they are after her, so she gets the thing. Bye. And that's the same thing, so she that's her existence, more or less. So she actually tries to steal a book, and the boy or the guy that's inside the bookstore don't forget her. So he actually goes after her, and she's like, no, he'll forget, don't worry, and he doesn't. And I'll leave it like that. So you know that Adeline or Addie is forgettable. So everyone forgets who she is, everyone forgets her face, everyone forgets her, that's it. She can't be remembered, that was the deal. And then you have Henry, who is a boy from New York that's born in the 21st century, or that lives in the 21st century, and he can't forget her. And that's the story. And let's go to the review, because this book was heartbreaking. And I'm not even joking. I cried like the last 100 pages. I cried so damn much. I was like full on crying. And in the last like 50 pages or 25 pages, I actually sat on the floor and stayed there throughout the rest of the book. And when I closed the book, I was like, okay, so what I'm gonna do with my life now? Because you have no idea. It was so good. I mean, it was the first book that I read from V.E.Schwab. It was, I mean, I know that she has amazing books. I know what type of genre that she writes, and I've always been intrigued, and I'm definitely gonna read more books from her. But it was the first book that I read that she wrote, and guys, I'm not even joking. Like, the book is absolutely amazing. One of the I mean, it's a masterpiece, like, you get that feeling. Like, the story is amazing, the plot twists are amazing, and the thing is, you don't see them coming, and you don't see that it's a plot twist until you actually in the page, like, you actually see the development of the story, because it's so well written and it's so connected that all of a sudden you see, like, oh my god, this will happen, or this is happening, or this is why it's happening, And I love when you are reading a book and you don't get the feeling that you are reading it, like when the story is so good and so well written and the characters are so amazing that you get the feeling that you are just in the story, So that's what I felt with this book. I mean, Shadow in the Amber and all the books that I'm going to review and everything, they are amazing books, not even kidding. But this one, it was one of those books that I feel like it broke me, you know. It broke my heart, like in tiny little pieces, and I don't know how I'm gonna have my heart full again, or because, you know, it was amazing. And this is not an honest, this is an honest book review, because I don't actually have anything to point out here. I feel like this book was like, I feel I'm speechless when I talk about this book, because it was amazing, like really amazing. And the way that Schwab makes you travel with Addie and see her point of view and dwell in those feelings of not belonging, be forgotten, you know, that darkness, it's there and it's in the book, and you can feel it like consume you. It's amazing, because when Addie is desperate and when she tries to live her existence throughout any means that she can, you feel for her. Like your moral compass is like, okay, if I was in her place, what would I do? Because I know what she's doing is wrong, but what are the options, you know? Like, she's forced to do that. And you can see, like, the difference between you have options and you are chosen the wrong one, versus you don't have options and this is your way out, are two different things, and they consume you in a very different way. So, for instance, when you are in your wrong path because you chose it, not because you were forced to, the darkness that consumes you, it's completely different than the one that you are forced into, because it's not your choice. You just had to live with that, you know. And sometimes it's very difficult to make peace with that. And I feel like the book is about that. It's about trying to live an existence where you are forgotten, where darkness is not around you, but it's inside you because you made that deal, and where everything that you hoped for, every dream that you had, it's gone, because you can't make a mark in the world. And you actually have a quote that it's more or less like, if you can't leave a mark, then did you really exist here? And that actually made me think, like, yeah, that's the point. Like, we as human beings love to, we are intrinsically insecure, you know. We want to be loved. We need to be loved as human beings. We need to have that connection with someone or something, and not to be remembered, and not be able to possess things because you don't have a place, because you don't have you know, your life isn't real. And it's the deepest reflection that I ever made with a fantasy book. And I'm not even joking, because it was a hell of a ride. And I really recommend you. I mean, I'm not even kidding. You will be heartbroken, especially if you dealt with problems with mental health and, you know, darkness and not being able to choose your path. This book will be difficult, not even kidding with you. I'm not here to say that you can't or can't read. I mean, that's obviously your choice, again. But this book is not, it doesn't have trigger warnings, you know, like it doesn't have like specific or extreme violence or rapes or, you know, that type of things, like bullying, so on and so forth. It doesn't have that, but it does have that voice in your head that's always and constantly saying that your life is not worth living. And that premise of you are forgettable, you will not leave a mark, so on and so forth, is what Addie feels every single day until Henry arrives. You know, like, she lives her existence craving for that simple life, like that way of living that we have, like having a family, settle, you know, having a dog, having a cat, having any type of pet that you like. And she can't have that, and she craves it, like. And So I feel like this book is definitely a masterpiece, because when the book makes you feel like that, honey, it's a masterpiece. I'm not even joking. So I highly recommend this book. It's not, I say that it's a 5 stars book, but if you ask me, it's more than a 5 stars. It's a book that will change your perspective, and that will, you know, make you see that I'm not gonna say what it is, because that will lead you to conclusions, and I don't want to have you like having ideas about the book. I want you to read it and then have your own ideas. But the traveling in this, but the ride that Schwab takes you, it's like that, you know. So up, down, up, down. Okay, that's all you need to know. That's what you will feel when you're reading it. And I don't know if it's a standalone, obviously. I hope not, because it ends in a cliffhanger. I don't know if it's a cliffhanger or if it's like a way to feel better. I don't know. I felt like this book can have a bit more, or at least a novel, a small novella kind of thing. But even though it doesn't have it, I feel like every single page of this book was worth reading. And I love the fact that she has the 2 point of views, like Henry's and Addie's. I love the fact that she like dwells in the darkness, and you dwell as well. I love the fact that the idea that everything will be fine is not like the premise of the book. Like, don't worry, happy endings will happen. Well, no, obviously. That's not life. That's not how you're gonna live it. So I feel like this book is a masterpiece, because it actually helps you see that things are difficult, that sometimes you, out of desperation, do crazy things, but that doesn't mean that you are wrong, or that doesn't mean that you didn't do the right choice. It means that you were forced to do it. It means that you run out of options. It means that you now have to live with the option, and your option is to surrender to that darkness or to fight it. And I think that in the book you see that Addie is a fighter, like a badass, and Henry is actually not a fighter. I think that is actually a very low-key kind of guy, which is very interesting because their personalities are kind of different, which was also very cool. And yeah, I highly recommend the book. This was actually a long review to say that the book is very good, it's a masterpiece, you should read it, because this is worth it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review, even though it's not, I can't review something that it's actually that good, but in my opinion, obviously. But I hope you guys liked it. I hope that you read it. If you do read it, please leave in the comments, because I would love to hear your opinion and talk about it, because I love talk about books. And see you in the next one. Bye.